Hello, hello, hello. This is Attorney Mike Evan coming to you from Chicago. As usual, the balloons in the background are from Teotihuacan, not New Mexico. Everyone thinks it's New Mexico. It's old Mexico. But that doesn't matter here. This is the closest thing I could come to for an Easter shirt. Happy Easter weekend. To those of you who view it that way, I do. When we last left our hero, Mr. Lau, he had just lost 3 out of 4 cases, but he got one dismissed. The prosecutor said, yeah, we didn't have somebody monitoring for 48 hours straight. Let it go. Then he had so many other cases set for trial that they had to set a date to set a date. That's where we are. Let's see how we progress today with our super hoarder, Mr. Lau. Where are we here?
In this as well. It has been emailed to the court this afternoon. I just want to make sure, because the Zoom meeting was scheduled for this Friday. I want to make sure that the judge is aware, or maybe may have rule on it.
I'll double check. Give me just one second to finish what I'm doing.
Problem. Yeah, sorry. I know. Just
take a look at that.
You don't multitask 6 things at the same time?
Not anymore.
Mr. Lau has a beanie.
Not anymore. I don't get paid enough for that.
And I was going to say a new shirt, but no. He's got a coat over his usual shirt. It's the same damn shirt. That's his designated court shirt. I got a few of those myself. Except mine are white button-down shirts. I change them up a little bit with suits and ties. He's been wearing that shirt for as long as his BBT's been parked in the wrong spot. Don't you hate it when you get caught parking your BBT in the wrong spot? I know I do.
The virtual courtroom. Good afternoon, Mr. Reynolds.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Lau.
You told me nothing happens for the first 5 minutes.
So we had scheduled today's date simply for an opportunity first for the two of you to have a conversation. I don't know if you were going to try to do that before today's hearing or whether we were going to just have a scheduling hearing today. We were going to spend about 15 minutes perhaps just trying to identify the cases that were eligible for trial and then schedule some trials so that if we need to resolve some of the cases for which the defendant still has a right to trial. I think that's where we left off. Mr. Reynolds, have there been any subsequent conversations?
There have, and I don't believe we have any sort of resolution.
Okay. So let's take a quick look and see what we had. And
I'm shocked.
I think each of you were given a report that Greg Ogden printed out where he had categorized those cases that had tickets had been issued at the top, and then filtered out the ones that were just warnings, obviously do not require a trial. And in our last discussion, I believe we came to an understanding regarding what cases would be eligible for trial. I'm going to take a moment to make sure that, and what I have printed out is through issue date through December 2nd. But if I remember correctly, and I'll give each of you a chance to weigh in. The cases that were still eligible for trial would have been all of those that were issued, tickets that were issued October 11th or later. Would you agree with that, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, that's my understanding.
And Mr. Lau, do you agree with that as well?
It's my understanding it's some number like 20 plus. And I also want to acknowledge having received Mr. Alden's email to me, I believe it was even on a Saturday. I have not gone through that listing in great detail because it's fairly painstaking. But yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have received it.
There
Yes.
were 29 cases that were listed, although 4 of them have now been resolved by virtue of there being a trial on those 4.
The gall of this
And
guy.
I'm going to have to probably look at it because we've got this Ames document that's been created that doesn't have, I don't believe it has the same, oh, there they are. Okay, I can see the numbers. So we had the 2214-3980 has already been resolved. If you look at that sheet, do you still have that sheet with you?
Yes,
It
yes.
might be worthwhile to pull that out. We've resolved the one that ends in 3980. We've resolved the case that ends in 3981. I believe we've resolved the case that ends in 3987. And the one that ends in 39, I believe it's 91. Yep, 3991. So by my math, that leaves 25 cases that are left for trial. I don't know, Mr. Reynolds, if you've had the chance to look through those and try to group them so that they would involve the least amount of parking officer time if we group them in groups of 4 or 5. But I am open to any ideas that you or Mr. Lau have regarding the grouping of these for trials.
So, Your Honor, if I may interrupt.
Yes, you can.
So, in addition to those, Your Honor, that you have identified, I have received some 2 or 3 more, and I haven't actually gone through a detailed survey of where the tickets may or may not be today. So at least since when I was in court, and today's date was decided, I have received additional citations. So those, unfortunately, I would like to have added to. It's the low several so far, unless I've been surprised by today, which the latest PMO usually issue me tickets is somewhere 3-ish to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and as early as about 8 or 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. But yeah, so Your Honor, all I'm saying is that the number may increase by a little bit, but the context, the gist of what we have to hopefully resolve remains the same.
Yes, it's all your
Well,
fault.
there may be more than the 25 left.
Yeah.
if
I
I'm
hope you're
understanding
getting more
correctly.
right now.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And I was
I really
listening, but I
do.
was also trying to navigate so I could pull up the parking website here, and forgive me for a moment while I see if I can find that.
It was a gift, Piggy Doo.
Let's see here. Unfortunately, we don't have Greg because he created this original document, so it would have been helpful to have him here, but I know he's in a meeting. Let me see if I can. Catherine, could you mind just walking over here? I can show you what the printout looks like, and maybe you can tell me where I can find the account number. I want to pull it up by his last name. Can I pull it up by just his last name?
As long as they're registered to him, of course.
Yes, I think that's what we're talking about is vehicles registered to Mr. Lau.
There you go.
Okay. Tickets. And then we've got issued.
And so if you click status,
I think that's what I want to keep on as status issued. So, because I think that's what we're looking at here. So I don't know that I want to change that. Let's see here. So yeah, I could go by issue, and that's, so there's just been one that's been submitted since December 2nd. It's at least,
This is what
That's what I'm
towing and
seeing.
pounding is for.
so there was one to submitted December 2nd. We talked about that when you were last here, and that was for plate number 6707777.
Tow it all.
747s.
Tow it
And
now.
then there's another one that was issued on December 13th. So some gap in between, the most recent being December 13th.
Thank you, John. Yes.
Okay, so now there are basically 26 tickets. And I'm just going to handwrite at the top here for my purposes so I can keep track of this. But that's ticket number 24C700345. So, Mr. Reynolds, I don't know that you have taken the time to try to group these to make it easier on the parking officers that come to
I
trial.
mean, I think it's gonna all be the same witness.
Okay, so as long as you're comfortable with that. If we look at the bottom, I think the best way is to take the oldest tickets first and just work our way up. I'm going to click on them and describe what the charge is, and then we can talk about what makes the most sense for trials.
Your Honor, if I may also, because you asked Mr. Reynolds about the witness that will testify for the city, because Your Honor, of your ruling the last time, in regard to the 48 hours and then forever ban on, could be what, forever ban on city street type of thing, which we rule against. That was a Leo Pelly decision. So I believe at least on one or more of the following trial, Mr. Pelly should appear as well to help us understand his rationale, because that led to quite a few tickets, not only since, but even prior
Yeah, it's a mystery.
to this 20 plus that we are dealing with.
Well, let me just be clear about how the rule works, the law works on this, is that for any of the cases that are prior to the date that you came in and asked for trial, and if that 14-day period had elapsed, we're not going to
I
address those.
understand that.
That's number one. But anything that's subsequent to that, if we set it for trial and Mr. Reynolds has a conversation with someone at Parking Services and they don't believe they can prove it, he can go in and dismiss that case, and you won't have to worry about that at trial. I do not have the authority to compel witnesses to testify. I can certainly allow for you to subpoena someone to testify, but you have to subpoena somebody who has factual information to provide with respect to the particular case. And so although Mr. Pelly may have been the person who directed his staff in a certain way, the only matter that will be before me is what the law is. My job is to determine what the law is, like I did with that last ordinance. It won't really matter to my determination whether Mr. Pelly thought it was something different beforehand or not. He just may have come to a conclusion that's different than the conclusion that I've drawn, or there may have been a communication that occurred where some people thought he thought a certain way. Into some ways, it's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is what is the law, and then was there a violation of the law? So if the city, now knowing what my position is with respect to the 76, I believe it's 24B and 7624C, how that's analyzed, with the city knowing that that's how the court perceives this, they can look at their evidence and determine whether they think they can prove that charge or not. And so for right now, we can set them a number of cases for trial. And then you can look at those as well. You can say, okay, what was that case about? Get yourself prepared for that trial. contact Mr. Reynolds if you want and say, Mr. Reynolds, I don't think you can prove this. What do you think? And you guys can have conversations in the background. But I think my job should be today to try to get an understanding of how many we're going to set on a particular trial date and which ones. And then we can do this bit by bit, but I also don't want to overextend you or the court or Mr. Reynolds' office by having not enough cases scheduled for a trial docket or too many cases scheduled for a trial docket, because it can get overwhelming. If we get up over 4 or 5, it gets a little hard for everybody to keep track of things and to hear the evidence, for a judge to hear the evidence and write an order. So my sense is we probably would stick it to 5, unless they were all, if we had 10 tickets that were all registration of a vehicle and it was going to be relatively straightforward evidence as far as whether there was a temporary tag that expired or not. Yeah, as you saw in the last trial, that was a 5 or 10 minute trial and it was over because there wasn't much debate about those. But the ones that require more of a factual contest, so to speak, was there evidence to support that the vehicle didn't move, for example, or moved, or was it abandoned under the legal determination of what constitutes abandonment, depending on what the citation is all about. So my sense is the best way to do that is to go to these various cases, starting with case number 24214-703-985. And I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to open that ticket up. And the violation alleged here is an allegation of a vehicle being in the yard in violation of section 7623 of the Boulder Revised Code. So I'll just put a note to the side that that's what that is about, 7623, vehicle in yard. And then I'm going to just keep working up to the ones that haven't been resolved. So we'll go back to.
Your Honor, could I interrupt you for a second?
Sure can.
So I have to leave at 3:30, and I am not opposed to grouping these together for trial in groups of whatever makes sense for the court, something like between 4 and 6. I think we could be even more efficient than we were a few Fridays ago, but that would be my preference of how to group these together and have them be temporally grouped rather than code grouped.
Okay, so that'd be pretty easy. We would look at the ones for the October 11th and perhaps into the 14th, and just schedule all those for trial.
That makes sense. And then our office will, provide Mr. Lau discovery, and if there's any of the ones that get set that we don't feel like we can proceed on, then we'll move to dismiss those, and I'll communicate that with Mr. Lau.
Your Honor, if I may, that's based on what you said a short while earlier, and actually just based on what Mr. Reynolds suggested. I believe it would really streamline the number of caseload if Mr. Reynolds' side would look at the cases, and on some of those that he more or less suggested that they don't think they can prove, that those would be dismissed and eliminated. So this 20 plus hopefully would dwindle down to just under 20 and maybe even less. And that, I believe, will make it a 4 or 5 different day court trial as opposed to different days. I'm going
to set.
Yeah. You know what I think would streamline it is if you stopped parking illegally.
6. I'm going to set 6 right now. And so the 6 that I'm going to set, to make this clear, we're going to set 242-14-703-985. So I'm going to circle that, and this will just make it easier for Catherine as I do this. That'll be set for trial. 242-14-703-988. I'm circling that. That'll be set for trial. 242-14-703-990. That will be set for trial. I'm going to do 3 more. 2214-704-076 will be set for trial. And 242-14-704-077 will also be set for trial. And then finally, 214704078 will also be set for trial. And Catherine, I don't think we need to create a new full court case. I think we can keep operating under the original full court case that we have. We have a database for cases that get scheduled in our system, and the parking system is not available to do that. So I have to have them all scheduled through our full court database, and that really shouldn't concern you. It'll just be the same case number. And so when you want to send documents in, you can send them in. Mr. Reynolds, do you have an objection to that or not? I'm just saying it right now out loud. I haven't given it a ton of thought. So
Can you restate that, Your Honor?
just to use the same case number rather than creating a new case number, we'll just keep going with the same case number and have it be for all the parking violations that go to trial. The only challenge I have with that is that we have exhibits that were introduced at the last trial. So that might be the impediment to this, and just having a new case number created might keep it cleaner.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'll talk first, and then I'll give you a chance to talk to you, Mr.
I can imagine if we end up having like 20 of these with 3 or 4 pictures each, that's like 80 plus exhibits. I mean, we could number the exhibits. We could use one FCE case, and then we could number the exhibits with like the last 4 of the parking ticket and have them numbered that way. So if it's like parking ticket 1, 2, 3, 4, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. There would be a ton of documents in that one case, but I don't have strong opinions.
I think I'm leaning towards the other way. So Catherine, I think we do need to create a new case number, just because otherwise we end up with a lot of challenges that we don't really need to create. So we'll create a new case number, and then what's best for you, Mr. Lau, so that you know exactly what you're dealing with? We could have Catherine print out a copy of the ticket. The copy of the tickets are in the system, correct, Catherine? So you could print out each one of those, and they would have the ticket number on it, and you would know which ones and then you could have your own system that you created so that you'd have the ticket and any notes you wanted to create so that you could testify about that ticket. And that way you'd have each one physically in your hands. Does that make sense for you or not?
Your Honor, Mr. Reynolds already said that he will provide discovery information on each one of them. So based on that, based on the new case number, number 1, I mean, first
Oh my
foremost,
God.
that there will be 6. Your Honor educated me last time.
This
There will be
guy's
6
so
separate
offensive.
trial. Each trial would be on each of those ticket numbers.
That's right.
This is what you get for being nice to an a-hole.
Mr. Reynolds already said he will provide me with discovery information prior to trial. So assuming I receive that, the court should not have to print out an additional copy unless my system failed miserably just before court.
Okay.
So I believe that will also streamline the process.
Okay, well, let's try to, and that's fine. So let's try to pick a date though. So we don't have a lot of time. And Mr. Reynolds, I just got, you might have to be a little late to your next thing so we can get a trial date scheduled for this. I don't anticipate that we're going to get this done before the end of the year, but I'm not saying it's not possible. But I know that we don't anticipate having any cases go to hearing in the last week of December, and we're already in the second to last week in December. So I think we're really looking at early in January, which isn't that far away. It's 16, 17 days or 15 days away. So looking at our court calendar, second's pretty booked. The third, which is a Friday, is pretty open, Mr. Reynolds, and I don't know if you've had a chance to discuss with your parking officer what looks best, but I've got it open on the 3rd, which is a Friday in the afternoon, really anytime from 2 o'clock on.
I can see if they're available. That's a difficult time of year. I don't know what their schedule is.
Let's do this then. Catherine, why don't you email to Mr. Lau and to Mr. Reynolds potential dates for trials. Any date that you select, why don't you check with me first so that we can block out the rest, because we don't want to set it up against other things that might go to trial. So I'd want to clear out our calendar once we pick some dates, and you and I can meet separately, and that way we can basically let everybody go, and we'll just email the dates for these particular cases. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Reynolds? And then you can check those dates before we actually schedule a trial with your witnesses.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Mr. Lau, same for you. We're going to just email to you some potential dates, both to you and Mr. Reynolds. And as long as you both say, yeah, this date works, that will be the date for the trial.
Yes, that's perfectly fine, Your Honor. Once Mr. Reynolds can offer that when the witness for the city will be available, then that makes it easier for me to narrow down the dates as well.
So we'll have him email back to you and to our clerk so that you can see what he said works for him.
And should there be, as Your Honor said, should there be a need for me to file a subpoena for Leo Pelli to show up, at least that will give all of us a little bit more time to deal with it, whatever on what exact date.
He may not be.
He may not. Yeah, I understand.
Prosecutor may object and move to cancel quash his subpoenas. And I'm not saying they will or won't. We'll be happy to issue subpoenas because that's what our legal job is to do, is if people want subpoenas that they want to have served on witnesses, then we can issue those to you. And then you can serve your subpoena or have an adult over the age of 18 to serve the subpoena on Mr. Pelli. And then we'll see if he decides to appear and testify. If there's anything relevant, I'll be happy to hear it. If not, I will certainly hear relevancy objections from both sides on issues that may or not be germane to the actual determination of the cases. All right, Mr. Reynolds, I know you've got another thing to go to. I think we've got what we need here at this juncture. I'll work with Catherine and we'll create a new case number. We'll send you an email with potential dates for both of you. And then if you can get back to us with those dates, that would be great.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And we'll see you. I'll be clear to both sides. I do not need to have either one of you physically here in the courtroom for our trials. If you would prefer to appear by Zoom video, that's fine with me, okay? The more efficient I can make it for everyone, the happier I'll be. So for right now, I'll let you know that if you decide you'd rather appear in person and it's more comfortable for you to sit right there, that's fine. If you want to appear by Zoom video and you're comfortable with the technology, that's also fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, but yes, thank you for your consideration.
Okay. All right, Mr. Reynolds, thank you for appearing.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, so Catherine, I'll give you this and then will you give it back to me? Because this is how I'm going to kind of keep track of. I've got one more parking issue and then we'll call up, and this may take a couple of minutes. So we don't have Ms. Talene back, so I think we're okay.
She's meeting with Mr. Reynolds.
Okay, great. So let's call Michael Lau. Mr. Lau, if you'll come forward.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lau. So
I'm Michael Lau.
Okay, I
thank
think
you.
we're into 2025 now.
Let me go ahead and
No, this is a shorter
pull
one.
up what I have here. I
Not too bad.
want to talk about whichever one did one of your vehicles get towed? Do I have that right? Is a vehicle,
A vehicle got towed today, Your Honor.
and which one was,
I
what
love
license
it.
plate was that one?
I love it. I want video. I want
You
video
know?
of the tow.
I do not know.
Okay. Have you
What
retrieved it
May
yet?
may I provide a little bit of background and context first, Your
Yeah,
Honor?
before
want
you do, but
delicious
I just
Mr.
want to be able to pull
Loutier.
up the right, I want to look at the right, whatever one's been towed first, and so I can go with that. So if you can tell me the license plate, because it's not showing an impound fee yet. So
Yeah, that's there. It's unlicensed, temporary license plate number
498590.
638-6618.
638-6618. All right, let's pull that one up first.
That's the Ford F-150, right?
It doesn't,
Okay.
I don't,
I'm going to pull it and see what it says on it, what I have for it. Yes, that is the Ford pickup 1996.
Yes.
And that one had a number of different tickets that had been issued on it. Let me look them over. Camper RV trailer parking prohibited.
A
Two of
30-year-old.
those, and then over 72 hours. So two
Pickup
separate
truck.
citations for August 5th. And then August 7th, there was another one of those camper tickets that was issued. Then there was a vehicle in yard ticket on August 16th, a vehicle in yard ticket on August 19th. Then it went on the tow list on September 19th. And then October 11th, there was a valid registration charge and a camper RV trailer parking charge. So there were a number of tickets that were issued, and it does show that it was towed today. And there was a tow fee added of $50. So that's the, on that one, there's a current balance. I believe it's $455 if my math is correct. It's $405 plus the $50 impound fee. So it's easier for me to address these tickets or these cases with one vehicle at a time. Then my purpose with the one that's towed is the one that's most crucial for me because that's the one that's sitting in the impound lot. Have you paid to get it released yet or not?
No, Your Honor.
It's currently impounded.
Do I have the wrong
It's
one?
been towed away, yes.
Okay.
And we already saw this
I've only been aware of it today.
Okay.
Can't tell.
Your Honor,
He always wears the same shirt.
I am only unable to have finished compiling it because I received all these just today. Your Honor, if I may back
Is
up
this?
a
Oh
little
my
bit
God!
first.
Do I have
Sure.
the wrong one?
This is my first time in traffic court, Your Honor. Previously, I've been in this courtroom on two separate occasions, July 16th, and earlier this week on Tuesday. On both instances, I only appear as a support person for a defendant on code enforcement trash accumulation violation.
Right. I think I saw you in the courtroom with Ms. Compte.
Yeah,
Is
let me
that
look
correct?
real quick.
LeCompte.
Thank you, Your Honor. And thank you, Your Honor. Memory is amazing because, Your Honor, you even addressed that you understand that there are certain traffic issues and you actually advise during court that that traffic court is at 1:30 today.
Yeah, for parking, but yes, you're right.
Yes, Deputy City Attorney has already advised me during the pre-trial conference that it's this Friday, next Friday, and then maybe skip. So thank you, Your Honor. So that is why I am here. But on my way here, I receive all these as well as one vehicle's been towed. I have tried in a diligent way, in a very responsible way to address this. When I was here on June 16th, while I was in court, parking issued me more tickets. I actually filed a motion to have these dismissed. Unfortunately, due to my lack of legal understanding, while I thought I have standing, I am the person doing the physical work, both in the trash accumulation to block the evictees from doing further damage.
I read that motion.
Yes.
But you filed that in Ms. LeCompte's
Yes.
code enforcement
So-
case, right?
Yes, so I am the one who actually truly created the so-called mess. And I take full responsibility for that. And I've stated in my earlier motion, prior to this Tuesday's hearing, the week before, Ms. LeCompte submitted a motion for the dismissal of the code enforcement, for the dismissal of the tickets, and
Yeah,
also
that's
for sanction of parking. I have tried my very best to follow all the rules. The vehicles are there to load up the stuff because I have made personally and legally my commitment to the city attorney's office during the July 16th pretrial conference. But I kept receiving tickets, warnings, citations, so forth on an ongoing basis.
Mhm.
I receive more than one a day when Boulder Parking only works 5 days a week.
All right. This is the first one again. It's all messed up because I have it in a list that was sent to me. And I'm telling you, I went in order. And this is out of order. But I can't figure out which one is the next clip right now. So I'll have to figure that out. It'll all have to wait for the next installment. It's a bummer because I wanted a little trial action in this one, but that's where we are. So I don't have it in order. I will figure out what the I will figure out what the next one is, and we'll get it started at the next convenient opportunity. Sorry for messing that up. Thanks for coming out.